how I went from this to this. In this art video, I focus on plane shifts, mixing skin tones, stacking brush strokes, and color temperature. I'll break it down session by session and show you exactly what I did at each stage. I'm going to take my canvas. These are very cheap. So as soon as I put the oil paint on, it just immediately like sucks it up like a thought in a club. Thirst traps on Instagram. You know what I mean. You really need the paint to be more malleable sometimes, especially if you're doing subtraction paintings, which that's all I've done so far. But it makes it so that the subtraction, once you put a layer of paint on, is just really like, it doesn't work. I'm not even looking at the camera. What am I doing? I'm such a noob. Here is my canvas. Okay, so I've grabbed some white paint. This supposedly should help with whatever thirst issues are going on, because I know tomorrow's painting is the 8-stroke one, and you want your paint kind of runny and gushy and kind of drippy, and with these canvases, it's not going to drip. It just immediately soaks in, like a sponge, I guess. Those are things that are very absorbent, like a baby diaper. That's a lame one. Don't worry about that. Oh my gosh, I want to open this, but I don't want to get paint all over my sweater because I like my sweater. It's very fuzzy. Oh fuck though. Oh, I'm not supposed to say fuck on YouTube. Do you see this? This is what it looks like. It appears that it is in a plastic bag with a zip tie. That light is a bit much, isn't it? So yeah, if you have a thirsty canvas, we'll see what happens with this. This is supposed to just be paint that you would put on any wall. And so I do a layer on top. I'm still not looking at the camera. I'm still a noob. Working on it. Okay, I'll see you guys soon. This canvas is freshly dried. Hopefully painting a white layer has taken out that thirst element. I keep the windows open, so I have 3 layers on because it's super cold, and 2 layers of pants. My setup, I have my canvas ready to go. There's only 3 colors. This is raw umber, alizarin crimson, transparent medium yellow. I have my brush. This is medium, 6 parts solvent to 1 part linseed oil. Okay, in this portrait challenge, I need to block in the colors using only the 3 cool transparent colors and block in with only 8 brush strokes. I start with the low lights and go to the highlights. It is meant to help you relax. I'm going to take my ruler, because what's more relaxing than a ruler, and I'm going to measure and find the center of my canvas. Can you tell I'm going to be a professional someday? I'm supposed to be using this and pulling out the paint. However, if you look really closely, the paint is basically like, doesn't really come off at all. So even when I dip it in paint thinner, like nothing's really coming up, just like a tiny bit. So my canvas, as much as I tried with the white layer, is still super thirsty. It barely moves. This is going to take forever. This is my scale tool. It looks like this. I'm going to measure my source image along with my real image. Ooh, I'm so far off. Her first eye should be about here. Okay, welcome back. I am managing to get some of the yellow out up here. Her first eye and second eye actually need to be here and here. So So I've been trying to shift the whole painting that way. I'm using a rag to like rub paint thinner on it. I broke my tool. One of the drawbacks of doing online is that I can't just ask a question and I smell like paint thinner. I'm gonna be high by the time I finish this. So a little time has gone by and I thought I'd show you my progress. This is now my monster. You can see roughly that's the eye. I'm using that as kind of the measurement. I've got an ear going, trying to get the jaw line there. This is all hair up there. I haven't really touched that. And then now I'm gonna work on the nose. I need to lower the mouth and I need to get the other eye in. So this is what it's looking like. I have found out that Q-tips are actually working so good. I'm just gonna remove things slowly. Take a look at some of the changes I made. When I look in the camera, it looks like her mouth is open, but if I look at it, I can tell it's kind of not. Right now, what I'm trying to do is kind of create a little bit of space so you can tell this is her neck, and then I kind of want to try to clean up this. This should be like a shadow under her jaw. I think also her jaw should maybe be angled a little bit differently. So I'll put a little bit of medium on my Q-tip, and I'm going to try to draw a bit of a new line here. I need to let this dry overnight. I'll pick it back up tomorrow. Hopefully it won't look so scary. Today is session 2 of this painting. The first thing I'm going to do, make some adjustments. I'm going to put in a little tracing to alter what I've done already. Right away, what I noticed is her head is too big. I want to bring her face in, probably a good amount, probably to like there, but I'm going to measure it. Obviously, as soon as I move in her face, her neck is going to now be out of proportion, so I also have to move her neck to the side. And her nose is too small, so I'm going to remeasure that, and then I'm also going to measure where her forehead, her hairline should be, the top of her forehead, and then I might map in some like plane shifts. There's a plane there, there's a plane. Her cheekbone should be about here, maybe about there, and then that'll be like a plane. So I just want to map that in so I can know how to adjust the colors accordingly. This background, I do want to change it. I should have done that maybe yesterday. Her lips and her eye are about the same size, okay. Alright, so I just finished putting in these alterations. You can see I brought in the neck and I outlined the shape of her face. So this will be her hairline. And I've put in a couple of planes. There's a plane there. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing to make skin tones, and then I'll just lay it down using this brush. This is the biggest brush I have. It's a filbert head, it's a size 12, and so I use that and just make some big broad strokes. Her nose, her forehead, her chin, these are all going to be warm colors because they're coming out towards us. And then things like her neck, her ear, some of her hair, those are going to be cool colors. Her cheeks are kind of in the middle, so I'll neutralize that. Yeah, I'm going to play around right now with mixing different shades. I've added in some different flesh tones, put in about 4 different shades for the different kind of plane shifts. I'm going to make this a little bit warmer, a little bit redder. Ooh, it's a little bit darker than I would like. Alright. This is still like a little bit dark, not as red as I would like it. Alright, so this is what my portrait is looking like now. Her eyes are definitely looking funny, but these are just kind of broad strokes. I'll go in with smaller brushes. I did try to go in with the eyes a little bit. I'm enjoying the process. and I'm excited to see what tomorrow's painting will look like, the finished product. I'm not sure how to get like a background at this point. I should have added a background before I started really. I am all set up. I've set up my palettes, I've got my light, I've got my source over there. Yeah, let's get to it. This is the final edition. Since last time I added in a nice green background. I've set up my palette a little bit differently because I realized last session that I put out a lot of purple and a lot of black and blue, some of the darker colors that I realized I need like a tiny bit. So today I put out a lot of yellow and I put out a lot of orange and white. I use a lot of those colors, mostly those colors, and with just a touch of the other ones. Hopefully I could get these blended a little bit lighter, because I actually think like certain spots of these are a bit darker than necessary, especially like around her eyes. It is like a bit red around her eye in the source picture, but this is a little bit extreme. I'm gonna try to make that more nuanced, and I will try to add more variance. I kind of want it to be more of a gradual change in the colors. Like this is very stark, some of these color shifts, like from here to around her mouth. That looks a little funny, so hopefully I can fix that in this painting today. Today I'm on day 3 of painting my portrait. I really want to finish today, but first I thought I would show you guys how to mix colors, how to mix your paint to get flesh tones. Okay, so you'll notice on my palette here I have basically Roy G. Biv out here, and I also have it up here. These colors are closer to me, so these are warm, so these are cool colors, because cool colors recede, warm colors come forward. To make flesh tones, use complementary colors. Like my warm white, I'll put a cool white over here. In the middle, this is my neutral white. Purple and yellow, orange and blue, and a red and green. Those are going to create kind of like a skin tone, and you add white to kind of balance it. On this side, the same thing. Orange and yellow are going to be big players. Purple and blue, you want to use the tiniest bit when you're mixing skin tones. I put some liquid in the middle. Give it some fluidity. Yellow and purple. So here's my yellow. I just take a little bit. And notice I don't twist my brush when I do that. I paint a little patch there. And then I'm going to take just the tiniest bit. And then maybe I'll take some white. That's kind of what it looks like. That's kind of a nice skin tone color. If it's something more mid-range, I could take a yellow and a purple from the cool side, and that'll be kind of a middle neutral territory. So let me also do that. I'll kind of put it over here, a bit of yellow, and then a little bit of purple from here. Ooh, that was too much purple. Actually, that's not too bad. So you see that's a nice brown. You leave it like that if that's what matches, or you add in more yellow, more purple. Okay, now let's do a cool. Here's my cool yellow, and I'll mix it with my cool purple. See, the purple's so strong. So I think this still looks a little too purple, so maybe I want to add in a bit of yellow. And you could do the same for any complementary colors. So here's my orange. I'll just do a couple brush strokes, and then a little bit of blue, a little bit more blue. I think even a little bit more blue. That looks like a nice brown. Again, if you need to kind of lighten it up, you could do that. So let's take orange. This is such a strong color. I'm gonna take like the tiniest bit, and I already know it's too much. Obviously that's way too much, so I have to take blue to kind of counter it. I would take even more orange. You could do the opposite too. You could use a blue and an orange to make another neutral. What I'm running into, as you can tell, is I'm just making it kind of splay out, so it's really constantly moving outwards. It makes a big mess, so that's a nice brown there. The cool one would look kind of like this. I'm going to take a little bit of orange, and then try again just to take the tiniest bit, and I'll take some more orange, and some more orange. Those are skin tones. The last one would be red and green. I didn't demonstrate that today, but that's how you do it. I hope that was useful to you. This is hopefully my last session with the portrait. The last session I did was like 6 hours, and I only got this far, so I'm hoping today I could finish it, because the whole thing was only supposed to take 2 hours, and I broke it into 2 sessions, 6 hours, and we'll see how long this takes. But I am really hoping to finish it today, and so that I can move on. In fact, I should force myself to finish it today and move on. It still takes me a really long time to mix paints and to get it to the right color that I want. So I think it's kind of holding me back in that way. I'm always like mixing. I don't quite have that developed eye just yet to really pinpoint how much I need of each color, so it takes some time. I assume in the future that's something that I would get better at and faster at. I would like to fix her nose. Her nose is looking super funny. Her eyes are also like like lopsided. Maybe I'll have a cross-eyed portrait by the end. This eye is definitely bigger than this eye also. Looking funny. It's looking funny. I need to add more nuance in here, and I would like to add maybe some darker colors in here. I think I need to add in her neck a little bit more here so that it's not so like tiny looking. And then the hair will be the last thing I tackle, and I'm nervous about that. though I do have some little brushes like this to help me with the little details, so I hope that'll help me with little baby hairs and also maybe some of the details in the eyes and the details in the lips. I'll see you at the end of my session when I break down what I did. In the meantime, you could watch my time lapse, blah blah blah. Ready? And here it is. So this is my finished product. Just as a reminder to myself more than anybody that I have not painted a face before, and faces are very challenging because as humans we're wired to notice the teeny tiny details of faces. In this portrait, I'm only using my new knowledge of plane shifts in the scale tool to create this portrait. The 3 critiques I have: her eyes are different sizes and they're also not in the same line, so that gives her a really cross-eyed look. She has a bit of a giraffe neck. I should have made her neck much shorter. Technically I should have added in her shoulders, but that was a bit challenging, so I only made her a floating head, but now she has a giraffe neck. The last thing is I wish I would have gotten a little bit bolder with my color choices. Here I really played it safe. I stuck to the browns and the beiges and the tans. I wish I would have stacked some green and red and purple in there. 3 things that were okay with this painting. I like how I did her lips. The color and the shape are nice. The shadow on her neck and the general use of color temperature was a big improvement to my last painting. The last thing, I thought I did a good job stacking the brush strokes instead of blending them together to make one solid color and adding a lot of different shades of different colors. That's it for this week's video. Let me know in the comments what you think I should improve on, what you struggled with your first portrait, and what you think I should paint next. Thanks for staying to the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!